What, according to you, seem to be the age of the Earth?
What I've come out with is that, with time, it's very, very strange, The encoding time and the decoding time can be very different,
Welcome, friends, to our new podcast on the topic of creation versus evolution. We are delighted to have with us on this very episode a professor of geology, a person by the name of Dr. Living Lee Chai Peng. And he holds a PhD from Liverpool. He specializes in paleontology, or the study of fossils, and sedimentology and stratigraphy. So, Dr. Living Lee, it is a great joy to have you on this very show.
I'm glad that for this opportunity to have a chat with you.
The first question that I would like to actually ask you, Dr. Living Lee, is, are creation and evolution mutually exclusive? Can you help our audience understand this?
Well, there are many approaches to this. It's common for some people who think that they are mutually exclusive. So I teach the course on evolution in my university. And sometimes during the first introductory class, I'll ask my students, I say, some of you are Christians or Muslims, and your Bible or your Quran tells you that God created. And now you're attending a course whereby we are teaching you about evolution, and some of you may, be a bit disturbed and say, how am I going to cope with this, you see? And I tell them, when you are attending this class, what we are doing is that we are teaching you the naturalistic answer based on, looking at the fossil record and other scientific phenomena and on origins and so on. If you work within that framework, which excludes the supernatural and so on, what kind of answer will come out for you for the development of, the universe, inorganic evolution, and then finally life and organic evolution from simple to complex life, you see. So that framework that you are working with, right from the start, you exclude everything that is supernatural. And evolution is the theory that's sort of best explains what we have, in the fossil record and so on, you see. So that's the first thing. Then the students are rather surprised when I tell them, but I believe God created. I say, I'm a Christian, I believe God created. And they will say, how can you hold these two things in tension? You believe in that God created, and then you are also teaching the course on evolution according to naturalistic science. That opens the door for me to tell them, you want to find out, I will discuss this further with you. And they're pretty happy with that.
So in one sense, you also agree that, when you look at both creation and evolution, they seem to actually have a different response to the very question of the origin of life, right?
Yes, that's basically what it is. And why do we get to believe in creation or evolution would depend on how you are looking at that subject, each of those subjects, you see.
So, but at the bottom of it, you actually believe that they are mutually exclusive, right? Creation on one hand, evolution on the other hand.
Not really. I believe that you can subscribe to both views depending on what give you those views, you see. Okay. So our belief in creation, for example, is derived from God's revealed word, the scriptures, you see. And our coming out with the evolution theory and so on is, if you do science the way secular science is being done now, excluding all supernatural, looking for just natural explanations, and then you get a sort of a cohesive logical system which explains things by just looking at natural phenomena and what we have.
I think moving on from there, it brings me to another important question. Is the age of the Earth billions of years old, or just a few thousand years old, as some would interpret. So how do you actually look at this question from a biblical point of view?
Okay. The question of time is very fascinating, In the first place, how do we come to the conclusion that the Bible says that the earth is young? So before the time of modern science, with all this discovery about dating of rocks and so on and all that, you have a Bible and you read it, and you will probably do exactly what Bishop Usher did when he wanted to sort of work out when was creation roughly, and what he did was he add up all the genealogies from Adam, to the next one and next one, and come up with an age of, I think, 4004 BC, you see, that the earth was created. That was all that he had to go on. And it may seem that way, but those genealogies, there are different genealogies, there are gaps in the genealogies, all that. But barring that, some would still argue, even if you give and take a few hundred years and so on, the earth at the most can just be 10,000 years and so on, you see. And they will try to defend that against what current science is finding, about the Earth age and the universe age by various physical methods like radioactive dating and so on. They try to disprove that by finding fault with the dating methods, which is fine, because not every dating is correct, and for precisely the reasons they find fault with, like potassium argon, you can have some argon gas which have escape, and or uranium lead. Not all the lead could have been derived from decay of uranium and so give erroneous ages and so on. But those are what we call discordant ages. Even the same rock, things can go wrong, when you're dating it. But the concordant ages are what argues more strongly for radiometric and other dating. You can cross-check with different decay series. You can cross-check with different even methods of dating, for the younger things like the organics, we have carbon-14 dating, and you can cross-check that with tree rings dating, and they match very well, you see. So to find fault with individual dating methods or individual dates just because some of this dating is wrong, and for precisely the same the reasons that you state, doesn't negate the whole thing as you throw away the baby with the bathwater and say all this scientific dating is rubbish, you see, and cannot be trusted.
So in your assessment, even as someone who's dealt with the fossil record, what according to you seem to be the age of the earth, if I may actually? And what is that one evidence that you find that seems to be supporting what position you are holding? Okay,
I've got a very interesting proposal here. Some would insist that according to what they say, the Bible sort of say the genealogies of that is very young, 10,000 age of the earth and so on. And then according to geology, the earth is 4.6 billion years old, and life started about 3.5 billion years ago and so on. So this seems like two irreconcilable views on the age, on the age of the earth. But what I've come out with is that, with time, it's very, very strange, I can even give you an analogy whereby the encoding time and the decoding time can be very different, in the old days, my time, I'm 70 years old already, we used to have these cassette tape recorders. I don't know whether you remember that or...
Yes, yeah? I do.
You have this
little... used to have the Walkman.
The cassette players.
Yes.
And so with your little cassette recorder in your room, if I come and give you in those days, a Beatles music tape which decodes in 1 hour, you play back in 1 hour, and I ask you, how long do you think it took me to produce this tape for you? and you will say 1 hour, because with the little tape recorder in your room, 1 hour of taping, 1 hour of playback, or 1 hour of encoding, 1 hour of decoding. So if I tell you that, hey, no, I produced this copy of the Beatles music for you in 5 minutes, you will laugh at me and say, are you trying to pull my leg? It's impossible. There's no way you can do it, because you're trapped with just your level of technology, which tells you it's impossible. Until I take you by the hand to my room and show you my high-speed tape deck, and I reveal to you, demonstrate to you, that I can actually encode in 5 minutes what would normally at your little tape recorder takes 1 hour to encode. If I don't reveal it to you, it's beyond you. You say it's impossible. But when I've revealed it to you, then you say, oh, so it is possible. So for me, what we do in the normal, let's say, decoding for all these dating methods and all that, you may come out with the answer that, the Earth is 4.6 billion years old or whatever it is. But that doesn't preclude that actually God could have created the world in 6 days, and we wouldn't have known it if he has not revealed it to us. That's why time is very interesting, because it's observer dependent. It's just a series of events and so on. And even now we have things called relative time and so on and all that, and time can compress and expand and depending on what you're doing to come to your conclusions about time. So basically, I would say that if I believe in a God who is all powerful, who can create everything that there is, to me, there's no problem. If he tells me he has created the world in 6 days, I would accept that. Yeah, the world was created in 6 days, 10,000 years ago, fine. But I wouldn't have discovered that by just doing my experiments, making natural observation of the rocks, and coming to that conclusion that it was supernaturally created in 6 days.
What do you think seems to be the evidence that comes out from the scientific world, and how does it correspond to what the scripture says?
Now, remember when right at the beginning I told you how we come to conclusions about evolution, not just of life, but physical evolution, chemical evolution before, or organic evolution. When we're talking about the fossil record, it's of course biological evolution. And so a very basic principle that is applied is, if you have got a stack of sediments and fossils are contained within it, and it's not crumpled and overturned and so on, what is laid down at the bottom must be the earliest, isn't it? So the oldest fossils are at the bottom. Then the other layers came in with younger and younger fossils sequences until the youngest are right at the top. So that's the first principle. Now, of course, there's no single stack of rocks in the earth whereby you have the oldest to the youngest. But we can piece together different sort of stacks of sedimentary rocks of different ages because of what we call correlation. If you have got a fossil usually it's just not a single fossil, but a group of fossils stacked in a particular fashion, A, B, C, D, and we find that same sequence in another part of the world, what is your conclusion? That the two of them must somehow or other be in connection with each other in the past. And now maybe the middle part has been eroded if it's a small difference in the two outcrops, or they could even have drifted apart two continents like, Africa and South America joins together like a jigsaw puzzle. And then they're split apart. We can even time it because the fossils sequence underneath before the split is similar for both sides. But after they've split and evolution has taken part separately between these two continents, the fossil sequence is different, you see. So from what we look at, life I mean, what is organic evolution or evolution is modification with descent. That's the basic theory of evolution, you see. What was in the past has no longer remained the same, but as the organisms, whether it's plants or animals or bacteria or whatever it is, as it interacts with the environment and with each other, the organisms, they change over time. So when you look at what is in the past, those are very different from what is in the present. And as to the timing of this, it takes, what we would say, it takes a long, long time. It's different from what people say, adaptation, which you see in the present day, breeds of dogs and birds and so on. Those minor changes that take place, but still within their kind and so on. Then they say that one, they say no problem, microevolution. But macroevolution, where all the different kinds come out from other kinds, is the problem that some people struggle with, you see.
Can someone believe in both creation and evolution?
Well, there are people who sort of say that they are mutually exclusive because of the way they interpret the biblical account of creation and the way they try to use science to disprove the Bible and so on. But for a person like me, who is a Christian who believes in the Bible and believe what it says as revealed to us, I would think that if creation is the miracle, the fantastic miracle that God has done, and as revealed to us by Him, I can accept it. It has happened. And if I look at the fossil sequence, the stack of rocks and all that, and interpret it minus any supernatural input, the only answer I can come up with, the best model that fits today, is the evolution model. You can't pitch the two things together and say it's either or. To me, if you are looking at the Bible and that creation is a miracle by an all-powerful creator God, I can accept that. But at the same time, if I go and look at evolution from a purely materialistic viewpoint, minus any input, what the kind of model I will come up with as an explanation is the naturalistic evolution model. But that doesn't mean that is the only answer. It could be wrong. And in so many aspects within it itself, there's so many unanswered questions and wrong and all that. But don't expect somebody to do natural science, and then discover God as he's working with the evolution model. The evolution model actually it works very well, and it's not just philosophical, it's operational, in the sense that we have used it to look for oil and gas deposits and so on and all that. And if the fossil sequence is just all in one big flood and all that, we'll be in big trouble. There was a timing, and we can time the events and so on, and work out models which tells us where the next gas or oil deposit is and so on and all that.
So there is a space in which we look at evolution, and there is a space in which we look at creation. But I'm sure that this is a topic where studying creation versus evolution may seem very challenging and unconnected to everyday life. But I am of the view that seeking answers to the question of the origin of life, whether it is a result of the handiwork of a creator or chance, as some people would say, proving it is vitally important. And why? Because answers to either of these questions have implications to the way we look at life. And if life is a handiwork of a creator and not merely a product of chance, then there is nothing more important than learning about the creator and getting to know him in and how he impacts our life, how he wants to have relationship with us, and so on and so forth. So, my dear friends and viewers, if you have any questions concerning this topic, then please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We have resources that can help you in your search for answers to these big questions of life, the origin of life. We as a team at RTB APAC would be delighted to help you in this search and in this journey. So just click the link below, check our website and many more resources, and do reach out to us. We will be very happy to help you. So once again, Dr. Lee, thank you. It's been a great joy for me to just have this conversation with you. We look forward to many more engagement with you, to hear you speak on this topic. So once again, thank you.